Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another episode of the Global Thought Space with Anza Saqib on CxO Global TV. CxO Global Forum is a knowledge sharing platform for all C levels across Pakistan and the globe. Every week, we try and discuss some very, very important topics that our thought leaders, uh, our domain experts, comment upon these topics and this global thought space. It helps us really connect ideas together. Today as well, we've got a very interesting panel. But before that, let me tell you a little about the topic that we have. Uh, we thought that talking about corporate social responsibility is something very important in this day and age because of the sheer reason that nowadays, especially post pandemic, the onus has come on a lot of companies to do their best to really contribute and give back to society. Hence, we thought that we would really pick up on corporate social responsibility because if you look at some of the international scholarly articles, there's a lot of predictions that businesses will become sustainable only when they start investing in the people around them. So let's speak to our domain experts a little more and hear what they have to say. Joining us today are some of our very esteemed members. We've got Mr. Rizwan Ahmed. He's the CEO at Awan Distribution. We've got Mr. Bilal Mumtaz, who's the CMO at sehat.com.pk. Then we've got Mr. Shahreyar Brohi. He's the CEO and owner at Brohi Farms. And then we have joining us one of our regulars, Mr. Ahmed Javaid, who is a cybersecurity specialist. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you so much for sparing time on a Saturday with us. I'm going to start a little about what exactly is corporate social responsibility. So, starting with Bilal Mumtaz. Bilal, what does corporate social responsibility mean to you? And have you at Sehat been involved in any CSR measures? I personally know of a few, but I would like for you to tell the audience as well.
So, corporate social responsibility to me can mean a lot of things. It's not just a way for, you know, as a cliche goes, to give back to the community, but it's also a responsibility for the corporation to essentially do something apart from its main product offering that creates an impact in other people. So that's why you have a lot of really big companies like Telenor and other MNCs really become active in providing, let's say, schooling in their spare time to schools in Pakistan. And the impetus for them doing so is that they know that in a country like ours, where public education is heavily underfunded, 50% of schools have what are called ghost teachers, or teachers that don't regularly even attend schools to teach kids. And these sorts of, so what they see, or how they treat CSR essentially, is they see gaps in the market that cannot sufficiently be um, filled by public goods or like services that are provided by the government. And that's why they feel that whatever sort of duty they have as a high performing company also encompasses them to give back to the country that they're in. Now, in terms of some of the CSR initiatives that I have been involved in, the first one is something I'd like to term as Sehat Cares, which is essentially us being heavily involved in Chitral over the past 10 years. We plan to hopefully extend this initiative to other northern areas. And it started off by me running a football camp during one summer when I came back to Pakistan from university, when Sehat wasn't even launched. And then I used that initiative to hold around 3 camps in the space of 6 years during my time at Sehat in Chitral, specifically for the youth of this region, and giving them an opportunity to showcase their talent in football and to have one-off matches and to give rewards and compensations to those kids. And that has left me, because of that, even become heavily involved with the district football association over there and with the Aga Khan Rural Support Program. So with the latter, actually, something interesting happened where we decided to collaborate in an initiative where we would deploy female hygiene kits in Chitral. So this is something that they wanted to spread awareness of, which hadn't been done before. For your knowledge, in that region and in other regions in Pakistan, unfortunately, there is very little knowledge on how uh, a woman is supposed to control her menstrual cycle. So what they have over there is they have outhouses that they go and it's over in a lot of different societies within Pakistan. There's no concept of products like pads that are distributed. So what we did was we created around 15 kits deployed in 3 public schools in the Chitral region with the Our Family Support Program's help, which then in turn was funded by UK Aid for this project. And that was essentially what Sayyid Cares is. In fact, I'm going to go to Chitral again in a couple of days to hold another football camp. Another really big initiative, which I'm still doing in a lot of capacity,
is the sports for social change, right? The football matches with the girls, right? Is that the initiative?
No, that's something that Krishma Ali did. And she's also a member of the Pakistan football team, and she's only
also a really good friend of mine. So yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool. And another initiative that we're involved in, which I'm still involved in some ways, even though it's not really, let me say it's involved in, is Sehat Start, where we collaborated with a working space in Lahore, and we invited budding entrepreneurs and essentially really skilled um, tech providers to come and provide seminars to those who would sign up on topics like cryptocurrency, AI, and even topics like emotional intelligence, just for the sole purpose of bettering or bringing out the best in the entrepreneurs in the local system. I still do that through mentoring through various other means, but this is an initiative that I also have in sales. So that's essentially what CSR, in a nutshell, is to me.
Bilal, thank you so much for that. And I'm so glad to know that there are young individuals like yourself that do believe that the onus is not just on big corporations, but also on each one of us. That's has to do their bit by contributing, even if it's picking up a social taboo that's generally talking about female hygiene is in itself a taboo. So hats off to you for connecting women's health with this CSR initiative. We're going to speak more to you, but let's head to Mr. Shahreyar Brohi. Shahreyar sab, generally people say that in the agriculture sector, there are mixed opinions. Okay, when you are an agriculturist, what kind of CSR must you be doing? So, sir, can we have your opinion? And what does CSR mean to you, corporate social responsibility? सर माइक म्यूट हुआ हुआ है आपका.
Assalamu alaikum, Anza. Thank you very much for inviting me over for speaking on this topic. मेरे लिए CSR is like the first time I was exposed to a CSR activity was in 2006 and 7 when I was working with Telenor in the capacity of business development executive for Sindh. So there जो भी हम SOS विलेज के लिए करते थे काम और उसके बाद फ्लड इफेक्टीज के लिए जितना भी हमने whatever we did, whatever we contributed among the from the employees, and then the company contributed the same amount. So it was a very good feeling, but like it was something I can't explain. कि इतना अच्छा लगता था कि like going to the areas, rain effectees and distributing food. That was my first interaction with people. Absolutely. Like that. Then in 2011 there were floods in Sindh. It was all over Pakistan. Yes, it was all over Pakistan. But नवाबशाह में बहुत हुए थे. Similarly, I'm from नवाबशाह. तो नवाबशाह में बहुत हुए थे तो उधर लोगों को खड़ी फसल पे पानी खड़ा हो गया था. ठीक है जी. And lots of agricultures went into no one was, सबका नुकसान बहुत ज़्यादा हुआ. So what happened that I started off with my own area. ठीक है जी. Arranged pumps. Started off one, actually, charity always starts from home. तो सबसे पहले मैंने अपना पानी निकाला कि जब तक आप खुद जो है वो ऑक्सीजन मास्क प्लेन में नहीं लगाएंगे तब तक आप किसी और को हेल्प कर नहीं सकते. सो व्हाट आई डिड वाज कि सबसे पहले जो है मैंने अपनी फसलों में से पानी निकलवाया. देन उसके बाद आई हेल्प अदर एग्रीकल्चरिस्ट एज वेल. ठीक है जी. सो took this to the next level and help people in Nawabshah and some गांव and goat and villages in मिठी area, उमरकोट वाले साइड पर. ठीक है जी.
जी मिठी is थरपारकर, right?
सर पार कर रहा या
Yes.
वो उमरकोट वाला साइड वहीं से लगता है झुट्टो में ठीक कुंडली वगैरह ठीक है जी so I did some of the work over there with the help of one of my cousins then what happened that recently I have since I started off with my own company Brohi Farms so इस वक्त जो है what I'm doing is I'm educating people about training them getting them trained on whatever I'm doing like I'm doing tunnel farming using drip irrigation technology so I've hired people from my own instead of hiring experts from Punjab or the areas wherever it is being done on mass level I hired my own people trained them educated them sending them for trainings in Punjab to bigger institutes where they can be trained as farmers ठीक है जी एक मेरा जो था वो ये इनिशिएटिव था सेकेंडली मेरा था कि आई एम अलॉट इनटू एनवायरनमेंट एक एनवायरनमेंट को बेहतर करने के लिए सो पिछले साल भी और उससे पहले भी जो है देयर वर थिंग्स के लाइक the weather was extremely hot during summer so the government is planting trees everywhere initiative by the federal government by the provinces everyone so what I did was I thought to plant trees in my area then I thought what would they get out of it what would the people get out of it so what I did was I provided around 50 or 60 people 60 households I provided with them fruit trees to plant them in their houses see it will serve two purposes they will make money after a while after 2-3 years they'll get the fruit they'll take care of it and they will be responsible basically for themselves my idea of CSR is to provide employment as well to not just एक दफा आपने खाना पहुंचा दिया एक ऐसे means आप create करें कि people should be earning on regular basis
Right, Brohi साहब, the topic was that CSR for sustainability. हम आपसे और थोड़ा इसके बारे में सुनेंगे, but रिजवान साहब आप हमारे साथ लाइन में हैं?
जी बिल्कुल मैं
रिजवान
लाइन पे हूँ आई एम हियर
सर तो डेफिनेटली सो सर वी वुड लव टू हियर योर टेक ऑन CSR एंड जिस तरह शहरियार साहब ने और बिलाल मुमताज ने बताया है अपने CSR इनिशिएटिव्स का वी वुड लव टू हियर व्हाट CSR means to you and what CSR initiatives have you or your brand taken.
So I'll just introduce myself. That is Rizwan Ahmed from Awan distribution. So if I say what does it mean to me, the CSR, our whole company based on is CSR. So I'll just give you the background. Myself and my partner, Mr. Isam Baghdadi, we were, working together in my previous company called Ingram Micro, which is UAE based, and I was the country manager for Pakistan. And we actually started some philanthropy back in 2016. So we started in Karachi the first free of cost speech therapy center. I'll just give you the background of why I started the speech therapy. My own daughter was deaf when she was born. So, it gave me a quite, passion and things like to do something because I've gone through as a father, as a parent, with a lot of difficulties in this area. And I found, there are a lot of, the people doesn't have the right knowledge actually. And whenever they see if their child is deaf or, or a special child, especially in Pakistan, we try to, hide them somewhere in the corner or, we don't try to, do the right treatment for them basically. So this is the area which, personally, I experienced being a father. I was not able to get the right treatment actually when I was even in UAE or even when I came to even for Karachi after her cochlear implant. So back in 2016, actually, we started the philanthropy. It was called Awanul Khair because my partner has Awanul Khair started in Egypt and he have kind of, small, the children's, who doesn't have the parents and all that. So he used to take care of them. So the idea got it. And, we both decided to do something, especially to giving back to the society, basically. So myself, I resigned, and I'm not telling you that this is the story. Honestly, this is actually based and is written on my even my company profile as well. The company was based on a philanthropy, basically, which started 2010 in Egypt and then 2016 in Pakistan. So CSR, you can say it is a base of our company, basically. We have been doing multiple activities. It's not like we are doing only on annual basis, or we are participating to with some other organizations. What we did actually, we started our own CSR activities within the company, and we have especially allocated some of the funds from our company, which is every month is going to our philanthropies. So what we are doing currently, we have running a free of cost speech therapy center in Karachi at Shahreyar Faisal. We have more than 70% children, 70 children basically, who are getting it facilitated from here. It's totally free of cost. Then what we did actually, since my daughter was since she was born deaf, so she had the difficulty to get that admission in the normal school basically. So normally in Pakistan also is happen the same thing. जब हमारा बच्चा गूंगा बहरा जिसे हम कहते हैं, उसे हम sign language पे डाल देते हैं. So sign language is not the right way of treating your deaf child. There is a different kind of therapies you can do, and there is a possibility of your child can speak or hear basically. So हमने जैसे मेरी बच्ची alhamdulillah वो UAE में थी, और somehow I got lucky to I got her admission in the normal school. तो एक बड़ी learning थी उसकी. तो same thing we started in Karachi. We started a school जहाँ पर हमने inclusive education को के जरिए काम किया, and from over 70 children which were treated in our therapy center, we did their assessment, and we got almost 45 children got admission in our school. So we started our school with the normal children, and then we added our hearing impaired children in that school. So I can say, this kind of very, unique school which has a proper inclusive educations in the school basically. And then later on, 2018, we started even the rehabilitation center as well, where we take care of intellectually challenged, mentally disordered children as well. So we overall, we have about, I can say, more than 320 to 350 children who are getting the treatment, getting the benefits from our organizations. So I can say,
Great,
like, very
Rizwan.
slowly.
Yeah, sorry. Bilkul, I'm very, very touched to hear that story, and I'm sure everyone else is as well. Great CSR initiatives. But I would also like to question some of the other speakers. And Bilal, maybe because you are someone who's been, heavily associated with marketing as well. Bilal, are you with us? Yeah. So, one of the advantages of doing CSR is that it brings a very good image to your brand, and it improves the brand's image. How far is this statement true? And have you seen it, happen practically around you?
So I was actually going to include that in the first, run of me speaking, but there's just so much for me to talk about. I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing. So on the football end, right, like I said, things obviously started due to a passion of mine. I've been a diehard football fan since I was 14 years old. I'm a FIFA World Cup trivia nut, and I've enjoyed playing football my whole life. And some of my best memories in my life have actually been, going to various stadiums in Europe to watch football games, and even attending, certain camps in the States. But the thing is, right, when I went there, I found, right, that the whole thing is, right, what continues your drive to view CSR is seeing those gaps in the market and seeing a lot of pain points, which has affected, people in rural areas in Pakistan. And the thing with the DFA Chitral was, even to this day, the Pakistan Football Federation has not sent an official scout over there or has held an official camp for kids. And they keep telling me this, and it brings tears to my eyes. And when I talked to the president of the District Football Association, of which I'm an executive committee member, and he told me about what the KPK football board allocates them every year, because they're part of KPK, they're not part of the Pakistan. They don't even get a lakh a year to hold their events. And even when I go and spend 50,000, that's like almost half of their budget for doing something that the kids so desperately need. And you might ask, but how worthwhile is it? In every single youth tournament in Pakistan, the Chitrali team always wins. That's how talented their boys are. And even around 2 years ago, what happened was Atletico Madrid, which is a famous Spanish football club, set up an academy in Pakistan, headquartered in Lahore. When they were scouting for talent, they sent over a team largely comprised of Somali youth to Spain to take part in the tournament. And even after looking my CSR initiatives there, they want to collaborate with me to further recognize this talent. And there's also another thing that really, when you talk about image building and branding, so what I noticed the first time, or like the second time I went to Javaid actually, and I discussed it with Kanwal, was the prospect of actually starting a student ambassadorship program. Because what happened was there were a lot of people who came to see our games. I gave a few youth my, not exactly business card, but promotional cards of say they could pass around to people. And within the space of a week, we got around 5 to 10 orders. Whereas before we were only maybe averaging an order or two a month. So this is something that, provides a very good image in that region that, even though it's a town of 30,000 people, e-commerce is basically something unheard of. And the best way to reach or to make an impact to those people is by holding events like this and by doing it yourself.
Right.
Now, the second part was with the female hygiene kit. So right after I'd done that activity, I saw an opportunity to be a part of the first female hygiene and health conference ever held in Pakistan history called Hack the Pad. It was run by iCube, Center of Excellence in Islam. And I saw it as not just an opportunity to showcase what we've been doing with SAID, but as an opportunity to connect other, very prominent gynecologists and entrepreneurs in that space in Pakistan, and then having them sent over there and being somewhat of a sponsor of the event. And, that was something that really, really excited me. And that was an initiative that I was really, really happy to be a part of. And it's certainly, I think the important thing to keep in mind when it comes to image or like portraying an image of your company through CSR is the fact that there will be a lot of times where you're directly going to get a lot of sales for the products you supply, but your perception, not just of your brand, but of the people behind the brand, is invaluable. And that's where it pays, unlimited dividends by spending that, principal amount just to, conduct an activity or do that CSR.
Right, absolutely. Some very pertinent points made, Bilal, indeed. But let's take another perspective from Shahreyar Saab, since he's also been associated with advertising for some time. I know this about him. So, how many success stories have you seen where CSR actually led to better brand building? Sir, आपका म्यूट हुआ है माइक.
Anza, CSR always helps the companies because I have worked on brands like Unilever, P&G, Telenor, out of home में ये सारे के सारे brands पे काम किया. So every company, all these MNCs have their own CSR initiatives. Like Telenor has SOS, they support SOS Village. Similarly, P&G supports LRBT. So we used to run campaign for them so that they can collect as many, I would say, donations during various time period in the year, especially for Ramadan. So basically, it basically helps MNCs, definitely helps them to for better brand building. And और जब ये काम हो रहा होता था ना, तो I have noticed that the stakeholders were also involved with us. Like even my company CEO was there, as used to be there as well too. कि कहाँ तक पहुंचा, किस तरह पहुंचा, मतलब client की जितनी ज़्यादा एक category directors जब involved होते हैं इस तरह की चीज़ों में, तो ज़ाहिर बात है everybody has to look for the maximum mileage they want to get out of it. ठीक है? Of course, they are doing. Every company is doing is there to make good profits, but again, they do pretty decent CSR activities. Unilever की I can't recall Unilever की कौन सी की है, but definitely LRBT के मैंने काफी सारी campaigns की हैं, और उसकी वजह से जो है ना बहुत ज्यादा इनको जो है ना वो help हुई है. Similarly, Telenor में I was in business development, I was not in marketing. So Telenor का भी जो है वो बहुत strong initiative था for SOS Village.
Right. I remember some of these initiatives, and so glad to know that since you were part of the industry, and you saw that these big corporations. I mean, I remember some of the initiatives, like for example, Pepsi did one with, solar lighting solutions for
Exactly,
Thar
exactly,
Parker region. So wo tha, yeah, for JS Bank started investing in a lot of sporting talent. That was the
exactly,
CSR
exactly.
initiative. HBL did it for the female players, sportswomen. So definitely, I believe that it also adds a lot of credibility. Rizwan साहब, what's your opinion? कि brand और image building किस हद तक होती है? Rizwan साहब, are you with us? Hello, Rizwan साहब. I think he's not with us. Bilal, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there.
All right, all right. So Bilal, I think Rizwan साहब is Rizwan साहब. Are you back with us? I think we can't hear him. There's a connection lag at his end. But, I was just talking about that. One of the things is definitely good brand building. But what about its direct impact on sales? Does CSR have a direct impact on sales for that matter? Have you noticed sales increasing at sehat.com.pk? Because see, the thing is that with brands like My Sehat, if they're doing CSR, obviously I'm sure it's not your intention to make sales out of it, but one of um, the effects of doing such CSR has been that it does build a better brand, and when you have a better brand image, that means that you have more sales. Is that a myth or a reality? Bilal, are you there with us on the line?
Is it stable now? Because
Yeah,
you
it's
guys had
stable
cut
now.
off there for a minute.
Yeah. Is it so? Is it a myth
Okay.
or a reality that better, with CSR initiatives, it can actually contribute to your sales as well?
So what I will say, and this is probably something that Shahreyar staff will agree with, coming from marketing out background. I've been involved in the basically marketing side of healthcare for a very long time, and Shahreyar staff will also agree that there's a very big stigma around the world that healthcare is actually where marketing professionals go to die. Because यहाँ पे as such बहुत मतलब rigid marketing होती है. In pharma companies, it takes maybe 2 or 3 weeks at least just to get a go ahead from the CEO कि हाँ ये आप एक post चला सकते हैं Facebook पे. But with me, it's been an anomaly, right? Because of the fact that if you talk about my whole family, we've always been very progressive in that. We always want to expand it into things, and we've always encouraged, professionalism in sense that I'm not just an owner of sales. I consider myself a marketing professional, especially with my time in Pro Pakistan. Now, when you talk about branding, sorry. So the best way to explain what branding is let's say there's four different scenarios where you basically have um,
Yes, Bilal, I think your video is frozen. Right. Sure. Sorry, go on.
let's say yeah, let's say there's
Four
four
different
different scenarios,
initiatives.
and yeah, scenarios to explain what branding is. In one scenario, when you just talk about general like promotion, it's a person telling the other person that my brand is great. And when you talk about advertising, it's him amplifying that to a greater level. He's saying my brand is great 5 or 6 times, and that too in a much louder way. When it comes to now the third scenario, which is PR, it's sort of like another guy comes to that person and says, "I've been referred to this guy that your brand is great." And branding is essentially that one person coming to you and saying, I understand that your brand is great. And I think, like I mentioned in another talk of ours, um, you don't really sell your product to people. You sell the story or the value behind it, right? So essentially, through these CSR activities, like I said, with holding the football camps, I was not expecting in any way to get a call from the same people saying that, oh, we'd like to collaborate with you on this project and we'll pay you for actually deploying these kits. But that was actually a business transaction. And I'd like to consider it as CSR because it's done for a very noble cause. The same thing with what I did with the CxO Global Forum. I essentially sent all the members.
I remember the
These healthcare
COVID
free of
kits.
cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then one other member said, "Oh, I really like this idea. I want to pay you now to send these kits to 200 of my clients." So essentially, with healthcare, it's something that really goes hand in hand when we talk about CSR, because generally healthcare is all about safety and trust and helping out other people. So this is something, when you talk about that whole notion, I don't think it's a myth, especially coming from my angle. I think it's part of being. So that's my 2 cents.
Right. Um, Thank you, Bilal, for reiterating that and telling your own personal success story. Shahreyar Saab, coming a little towards you know your area of expertise as well. So, you have a lot of experience even in the corporate sector, and you worked with all these big firms and MNCs. So when a business is looking at what CSR initiatives to take, what are some of the things that we need to keep in mind? Like, how can businesses tell, should we invest in healthcare? Should we invest in female reproductive health? Should we do something for sports? Should we build an orphanage? How does one decide which CSR initiative to be involved in?
Uh, I have worked with most of the times. I have worked with the media buying houses, multinational media buying houses. Okay, so from company's point of view, I would like to speak for Brohi Farms only. I can't speak for Unilever or P&G or Telenor for that matter. Uh, if I am at Brohi Farms, what my concern would be that if I am providing adequate education to the children of my area, if I am providing adequate jobs, adequate sustainable income, sustainable ways to get income on regular basis. That's what my CSR initiative is. सो बेसिकली आपको देखना ही होता है कि बेसिकली प्रॉब्लम है क्या. प्रॉब्लम इज एजुकेशन. लोग अगर बच्चों को स्कूल नहीं भेज रहे तो यस आई गो आई स्पीक टू माई पीपल, कन्विंस देम टू सेंड देम टू स्कूल बिकॉज वी हैव अ स्कूल इन आवर विलेज. सो बच्चों को स्कूल भेजना इज इम्पोर्टेंट. ओके फाइन, आपका जो है वो बच्चों को एजुकेशन वाला एक आपने कवर कर लिया. देन आपने देखा कि और किस जगह पे आप कर सकते हो. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल few days back, 2 days back, we spoke about moringa. Now, what I'm doing with moringa, I am giving it to my farmers to plant for their because moringa is a very healthy plant. It's for everyone, like for
Yeah, even
humans.
I think a lot of people consider it for many things like detox and
Exactly,
slimming and everything, and it's also
exactly.
expensive. Like the retail price is quite
Yes.
expensive for moringa.
So I am providing plants, ready-made plants to my farmers so that they can plant it for their own thing, for their own cattle. I would say that because it is very good for cattle, for their own livestock. सो बेसिकली जो है उन लोगों को इस चीज पर लेकर आना कि ओके फाइन, रादर देन जो है वो तुमको एक नॉर्मल घास खिलाने से बेहतर है एक बेहतर घास खिलाओ, एक बेहतर खुराक दो अपने जानवर को जो आपको ज्यादा दूध दे, ज्यादा हेल्दी हो, आप उसको अगर बेचो तो ज्यादा पैसे आपको मिले. ठीक है जी. तो बेसिकली एज एन एग्रीकल्चर एक एग्रीकल्चरिस्ट का जो है ना वो यही सीएसआर हो सकता है. ठीक है जी. मुझे पता है कि मेरे कस्टमर्स हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल मेरे स्ट्रॉबेरी का कस्टमर कराची में बैठा हुआ है, या फॉर एग्जांपल मेरे जैम का कस्टमर कराची, लाहौर, इस्लामाबाद में बैठा हुआ है. लेकिन जो मेरा सीएसआर एक्टिविटी है ना वो मेरी अपने एरिया से स्टार्ट होगी और वहीं से आस्ते आस्ते ग्रो करेगी.
Right, absolutely. Like I said, you just hit the nail on the coffin with that one, that you need to be aware of your own area, what your own agenda is. Um, with that in mind, unfortunately, we're running a little short on time for this conversation. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for sharing your thoughts. Towards an end note, I would like both of you, and starting with Bilal, to share, just wrap up the session for today briefly, and also tell me if you are considering any other CSR initiatives in the pipeline in the future.
So, I had a good session today, and it was great telling everybody in this group about my experiences. It was great to hear from Shahreyar Saab about how he's operating at a much higher level and how he feels, uh, that CSR is indeed quite important than for a lot of your initiative. That's something that hello. I lost
We can hear you, Bilal. Go on.
guys.
I think there's a bit of a connection error at Bilal's end, but
I was just
Bilal,
saying
I
that
would
it's
just
very,
till you saw
a very, very.
yeah.
Hold on. Let me disconnect.
Yeah, and then till then we can have Mr. Shahreyar Brohi share his opinion.
Anza, it was a wonderful session. It was a wonderful session, and I listened to both the gentlemen. Excellent initiatives by Bilal and Rizwan Saab, especially Rizwan Saab. I loved it. Secondly, जो है वो CxO Global Forum is an excellent forum to connect with the right individual, with people with knowledge and information, whichever information you need. So keep rocking.
Thank you so much, Shahreyar Sab. Great, insights, and thank you for the kind words. Yes, Bilal, I'm going to ask you to wrap up the session.
All right. Thank you very much. It was very good learning from other people in this session, and especially from Shahriyar Saab and Rizwan Saab. It's always good to hear a lot of wisdom from their angle as to, especially in the realm of corporate social responsibility, about how much of an impact it actually makes in your brand. And I see a clear correlation between really successful people and people with really big visions to their stress on the importance of CSR. And I just, would like to thank the CxO Global Forum once again for covering important topics like these. We definitely need more discussions like this, and I'm happy to collaborate with anyone further along the road. And I feel that in terms of other CSR activities that I am planning, um, one sort of initiative that comes to mind is the fact that I want to sort of build a healthcare-based incubation and accelerator program for startups. I'm already sort of working on something right now for e-commerce startups, but my goal is to essentially get healthcare, startups, give them free mentorship, and not only give them guidance as to how to position themselves in the Pakistani market and make that the latest banner under Sehat. So that's something I'm going to be really passionate about.
All the best to you, Bilal, and it's always refreshing to hear your thoughts and a lot to learn. And I wish you all the best. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Indeed, it is through collaborations and partnerships at forums like the CxO Global Forum where you can work together and create a more sustainable future, because that is how we're all going to survive. Ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourself, and we're going to see you next time for another Global Thought Space. If you have any comments or feedback, please write to us. Thank you so much, everyone. See you next time.
Thank
All
you.
right. Enjoy your
Thank you.
weekend, both of you.
You too. Bye bye.
Thank